react in time, especially if this is going to be a best hero, you'd have to expect it out of him. So I think he even has a lot of room to be able to kind of take the game in his own hands and potentially get Hydra into this third game.
I've always wanted to be a giant.
We'll have to wait and see, because you do have, of course, the potential for the Ember Spirit to ball, but you do have the potential as well, once those Blink Daggers start to become a factor, for him to be caught out, right? Blink Ravage, Blink Wraithfire Blast, Blink Pulverize even, are all really great tools at being able to find that initial little bit of lockdown for the Ember Spirit.
30 seconds to
It's Katie. Take a little bit of harass right now. I don't know, man. This feels like a lot more even. And the thing that I like about how Hydra have rounded out their draft is that I said after the first 3 picks, the Ember, the Disruptor, and the Skywrath Mage, they just want to get heroes that buy BKBs. But you got to say, a Legion Commander or a Faceless Void, they're like, sure, buy BKBs. We don't really care. We're still able to have a huge amount of impact in a lot of these fights with the Duel, with the Chronosphere, and of course, Void, in my opinion, still the best hero for late game Dota. So I think this is a game where I would feel a lot more confident with Kami if he wanted to go into that Midas and go late game, but you cannot be giving up your life this early. He used the Time Walk up into where the Tide Hunter was, so he's already going to be about half HP just coming into the lane.
Yeah, I don't know where to decide as well, where I think this game is going to go. I think
I was like 70% confident in game 1 with StoRm, but this is as close to a 50-50 as I think we're going to get.
Yep. I think just for me, maybe the one thing like leading me a little bit more to StoRm is just that I think they've been very, very more dominant in their victories. Yes, more dominant, more clean, without a doubt. So I think that's kind of the one thing like slightly leaning me over to StoRm, just because I feel like there's a high chance for them to execute their draft compared to Dyer's. So we will see. We'll see what we have in store for us, though.
We will indeed. I'm wondering what Happy's doing up on this top side. I mean, you're trading up against the Techies, which is not the easiest thing to do, especially when you're already down a right-click advantage. You've got a much more reliable way to deal damage in the Sticky Bomb, and he's also playing around with a Blood Grenade as well. So I feel like Happy, especially with how little mana that he has left, can't just look to stand and trade with his Techies too much longer. Yeah, I like that you're going to be level 2 with a Gush, and then they just look to try and kill the Disruptor. It'd be a pretty easy first blood.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up, because I wanted to ask you the question of like, do you want 1J to go actually into a little bit more stats in this lane? Because there is that potential, like you said, to out-harass the Disruptor and to get the combination out of the Gush as well.
There we go.
We're going to see that now. It's the 2, and this will result in a kill. So very nicely done. I mean, this is just going to continue to happen in the lane, especially if they have the creep equally in their favor of StoRm, and they will. It's going to be a double wave for them. So Disruptor always has to be cautious on where he's going to be playing now.
Only little downsides is that he was about a split second away from being able to get that body block off onto the small camp. So with the creep wave coming in, they're going to be able to pull it back a little bit further, and maybe Happy is going to be able to use that glimpse to be able to prevent him from just getting right-clicked down so much by the Tide Hunter in particular. It's like he's going for a half pull, gets a 3/4. It's good enough. You can't ignore a flag bearer creep in the lane, but you also can't ignore 3 creeps hitting into a relatively decent small camp, right? And well, with one of those neutrals dying, it's going to give him his level 2.
One hero we haven't really seen in a very long time is that Wraith King. Like you said, I mean, it's got a lot of value playing into the Faceless Void. Chronosphere for Reincarnation always is great. Top lane, actually. Action continues. 1J tries to get the blast off to the right side. Kami can always follow in pursuit. So Hydra, they're going to be able to strike back.
Even gets the body block off on the 3-minute hard camp, and it frees up some space for Dominic to be able to pick up the Lotus. So he's feeling okay about everything, and he is going into that Meteor Hammer, which I like, right? I don't think you can let this get to the hyper late game. I have utmost faith in Kami to be able to carry it for Hydra if it does get to that stage, but you've got a Meteor Hammer, you've got that early push, you've got relatively low cooldowns on the Techies and the Primal Beast to be able to play around with, and you've even got the Skeleton coming through from the Wraith King to be able to push into a lot of these lanes. And even down bottom, we haven't been focusing on it too much, but he's having a pretty good time here, Katie, on this bottom lane, up against, of course, one of the best melee, I don't know if you would call it an anti-carry, but you just make sure that the position one doesn't have the easiest time in the lane. And, well, he's actually coming out ahead on net worth by a fairly decent amount, 500.
Yeah, I don't know how much this has got to do with Seneko opting for 2 points in the Shadow Word. So, I mean, there is a little bit more versatile. So the Warlock, he can go into some other options in the lane with whatever he wants to, but this one in particular feels like the Shadow Word is going to be necessary, and there is a lot of kill threat. This skeleton, oh, actually, it's going on mid lane. Okay, Nicky Cool, that's a gigantic one.
Navi just showing up a little bit too late. Again, using that right-click advantage from the Primal Beast to its fullest potential. Just being able to bully out the Ember Spirit, soften him up enough, and I mean, if you're going to get a kill onto him, this is the time to do it, right? You can't do it once he's level 6. Just the 1 point in the Searing Chains, but wasn't enough, obviously, to be able to provide that extra little bit of a layer of protection. Even freeing up 1J with that rotation 3. He wasn't needed on the techies, but he's in the general region. You've got a Tide Hunter with plenty of sustain for himself. You're able to pick up some stacks as well for Primal to be able to use to get into that early-ish. Well, we're still 100%, not 100% onto what his first item's going to be. Is it going to be the BKB? Is it going to be the Blink Dagger after the Phase Boots? I feel like probably for me, the BKB is the one, right? You want to be the one that forces the fight to start in a bit of an awkward position for Hydra to enable things like the Fatal Bonds, the Upheaval, the Chaotic Offering to be able to come in and be that follow-up.
Warwick's... all right. Nicky Cool's still got to go for a pretty nice slight, though, from Warwick. Going to be able to avoid some of the damage out of the Onslaught, so we do see there's a huge advantage at the moment. I mean, Warwick just hit 5, and Nicky Cool should be fine, and probably is going to be able to get the power rune as a result of this, and we'll see what the decision's going to be afterwards, if he looks to try and gank one of the side lanes with it, or maybe if he uses it for another kill onto the Ember.
Well, they're praying that it's bottom because they're putting so much emphasis up onto this top side. You've got the Skywrath Mage there trying to camp the bottom, and it's an illusion. It's going to
Warwick's just dead now. He just used the chains. There's going to be nothing that's going to stop the Primal Beast. Let's see if Nicky wants to continue going for it. Kinetic Field. All right, well, that's probably another thing that'll stop him. So we'll see what they're able to do off the back of this, though. Warwick's got the chains back up, tries to use it onto Seneko. Looks like with the body blocks out of Lil, they're going to be able to get a secondary kill onto the Warlock. And they will. No uphill miss. Nice glimpse as well by 1J. Oh, he sent the bottle as well back. Oh, no.
All right. Little individual plays coming through from Hydra to be able to give them the advantage there. Just puts the bottle on the ground saying, you know what, your courier could be the one to bring it to you. I've got other things to do. One of those is, of course, going to be securing the 7-minute wisdom rune for himself. Getting those nice early levels, especially for something like the techies, who's still just level 2. You know, obviously, he's going to get a big boost once some of these stacks are starting to be taken, and you've got great heroes to be able to do it in the Tide Hunter and the Primal.
Until you make mistakes.
Speaking of the Primal, first movement out of Nicky Cool.
Oh, there's still got siege creep as well.
How many charges? Not many.
Still enough to put a lot of emphasis into this tower. Obviously, Armlet on Wraith King, it's pretty standard, right? But the extra slow resistance coming through is going to be quite nice against the time dilation, the concussive bolt, even, I guess, a little bit
from dude.
The Thunderstrike.
Are they going to kill Cloud again? They might just get Lil. Okay, pretty nice timing out of the sky just to path by the secret shot. Lil's still going to be chased down nonetheless. It does mean they use a lot for the kill into the sky, so Cloud's going to be okay, but they are really looking to try and shut down this Legion.
I mean, again, it's a really good Legion Commander game, right? If you're able to get that start that you need. But if you're not able to dominate in the laning stage, if you're not able to get your level 6, and if you're not able to combine with supports that are getting levels and enabling you to get that dual damage to scale with the likes of the Mystic Flare, then obviously you're going to be quite hindered. So honestly, a Skywrath Mage kill there is basically as good as the LC kill.
Nicky Cool's in a bit of an awkward position right now. This could be an opportunity for them to get a big kill into the Primal Beast. Let's see how tanky he's going to be with the uproar on the Fair Fire. He actually wants to turn and try and kill off Warwick, especially with a Ravage as well from Dominic. It's just shy of clipping onto the Ember, but nonetheless, it will be a kill for StoRm, and Nicky Cool is able to get out of harm's way too.
able to just get away. Didn't even want to use the pulverize. I think they'd used everything, right? They'd used the glimpse, they'd used the ancient seal already, so nothing would have stopped him other than just wanting to be able to get the hell away from there. And we could see the emphasis given on just making sure that this primal does continue to scale, right? Level 7 relative to the freshly picked up level 7 on Warwick, so you don't have that big XP advantage like you previously did, but you've still got a much higher amount of kill threat because he hasn't quite reached into those 3. He's actually only got 2 of the items. I was about to say the Orma Corrosion with the wand, but no wand even picked up for the Ember.
Who will be able to take a triple stack away with 3 points in the Flame Guard's going to be able to get her. Seneko is sniffing this out though. Yeah, maybe they're not going to give it up for free. Nikki Cole's going to be able to rotate down as well. They're going to try and get towards the Remnant location. They'll see him inside the river pretty shortly, but...
Got most of them. There's one tower gone with the Meteor Hammer. Bottom tower, all it takes is Cloud being pushed out of that lane one more time, and then that's going to be gone too. He's going into the Blade Mail, which honestly, not an amazing Blade Mail game, I gotta say. Like, at least in terms of like the blink. If you're using it onto the Primal Beast when he dives in onto you, sure, it's just as good as it ever was, but I'm still a little bit worried about him being able to scale off the back of this dual damage, man.
Charge in. But dude, Lil is just food for Nikki Cole. Whenever he wants a freebie, just go to the sky and you will be rewarded. Nikki Cole 4-0-1. And I get what are they
between the towers?
Oh, this is crazy. Now Dominic's here to be able to get another tower as well. What?
Close on Warwick, otherwise he would have got clipped by the Meteor Hammer. And they're even making this play happen around the 10-minute mark. So you've got that siege creep there, helping the push out a little bit. You've also got the sustain coming through from the Warlock. We really don't see that much of the Shadow Word being maxed out anymore. It's really providing so much of this constant aggression, right? You want the attention to be on the Tide Hunter, on the Wraith King, and on the Primal Beast, right? And it's not really too much use out of using the Shadow Word aggressively onto the Legion Commander, because she's just going to dispel it. So just enable them to keep on running forward, and they're going to have a great time.
Well, you did speak about earlier that potentially, you know, if Kami's able to get towards that late game, that you feel like this Faceless Void is going to be enough to get Hydra over the finish line, and the Midas will be the steroid for him to get there, which is now completed, but he's still going to need a lot of time, and honestly, he just needs to get pretty active too whenever Chronosphere is ready. We haven't even seen him consider about, you know, TPing over to some of the fights, so he's going to be forced to do it pretty shortly, otherwise they are going to lose too much map from Hydra.
I mean, they've already lost all their tier 1 towers at 11 minutes, right? So it's not looking great right now. On the plus side, Midas is one of the better items at being able to make the most out of a relatively small farming area of the map. But the thing is that they are just not letting up on StoRm. They're going a much quicker oriented draft. They're going this push style with the Meteor Hammer, and even Wraith King going into an early Desolator as well, not feeling like he has the need for a Blink Dagger to be able to follow up on a lot of this aggression. It's a glimpse back, but I mean, I really don't think he's all that worried. Is he going to get a kill?
They might get the kill into the Ember, yeah, but the first stun sets up for 1J. Warwick still is going to be tanky enough to get that Remnant away, but I mean, Nikki Cool again, and he's going hard as well. So this is a build that we've kind of seen a little bit more popularized now, especially the hard in particular. I think it was actually one of the games yesterday where there was a Primal Beast that went like a very early hard. So you're already seeing the difficulty to kill him off at the moment. Just wait till he gets his item.
And that's the thing, right? You've got a Tide Hunter who's done his pushing job already, right? And now he's just going into even more items that's going to enable him to tank up. He's got the pipe queued up. He's looking to go into a Blink Dagger and an Aghanim Shard as well. So honestly, the Dead in the Water feels pretty great this game against two heroes that rely so heavily on their movement in the Faceless Void and the Ember Spirit, and even just the Legion Commander as well, right? Like, you could press the attack, but that's not going to kill an anchor. And can they look to make this move? At least they've got the level 6 on Lil, and you've got a Blade Mail picked up by Cloud. Doesn't have a TP, so they know that unless they're making a move down towards this bottom side, they should be pretty safe to be able to play around this mid area. Popping the Blade Mail right now on Nikki Cool himself.
Here's Kami. All right, Chrono with Static Storm. That's a pretty good conjunction of ultimates from Hydra to be able to get some kills. And Ravage is kind of wasted as well. Now, they've pretty much used everything from the previous attempts. So Nicky Cool's got nothing to fear. And well, will he get it? Or he's going to be fine. So, I mean, Katie comes over a little bit too late to really get involved. But we do see what's able to happen once Kami tries to show up here with the Chronosphere. He's getting chased down, but it's just Dominic.
But the thing is, again, like, what now? What happens for this next little bit? I mean, the thing that you can hang your hat on the most is that you did use the Ravage on Dominic as well. But the thing is, he's just pushing it onto this top side. Kami's trying to right-click him just to be able to get a lucky bash to be able to stop this Meteor Hammer, because they already used the glyph on that bottom tier 2 tower, I believe. So you can really just look to come up and contest with them. You know that you've got the slight advantage in terms of net worth. You know you've got your ultimates available. And that's why Seneko is making the move up here. Maybe they can get a dual Mystic Flare onto him.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to mirror this movement as well, but they might be a little bit too late. Seneco's going to try and disrupt it with the rock, and now Nicky Cool's going to be here with the damage as well. Kami's a big kill, but they're not going to be able to get him. I guess Dominic does survive as well, but we also see Kami stays alive to the potential burst that Nicky Cool was offering, so either side, again, chucking out a lot of spells, but no one will go down now.
And though the big thing for mine is that you've got Wraith King pushing into this tower. He can really look to just put a little bit more emphasis down there if he wanted to. It was so many TPs expended to be able to get up to that top side. He ended up using the skeletons, maybe just wanting to wait for this a couple of waves just so that he has a full creep wave to be able to play around with, because they don't have TPs on anyone except this Faceless Void right now, and he's still 45 seconds off having that Chronosphere available. So it really just feels like they're trying to run away. This is a game of cat and mouse. Kami's doing his best to try and A, pick up his farm, and B, slow down.
Oh, this is pretty deep. I mean, this is super deep, dude. Nicky Cool. Who cares about a tier 3 tower? 1J? What's going on, guys? How deep do you want to go? You need to pay some respect. I mean, Chrono's down. Kami needs some lucky bashes. Maybe they can get the kinetic field to stop him from retreating, but I mean, you are feeding over a pretty big streak, and honestly, StoRm, just no respect with that attempt.
Yeah, a little bit too deep there, I think. Maybe just thinking, you know what, no Chrono, maybe not expecting the multi-shot to come out there from another glyph being expanded on the top side, and you know what, do it. You're going to lose a tier 2 tower soon anyway, so you may as well get the most out of it while you can. Downside, of course, is that Cloud was forced so far back, he just was trying to live, not give up another kill, and he doesn't have any full damage still to play with.
They're pinging out the Wraith King. Still got Reincarnation to work with here.
You got
Ravage at the ready as well. Dominic is starting to connect to the rest of the StoRm members. Kami's looking for a big opportunity with the Chronosphere, but StoRm's doing a really good job to split away, making sure the threat. It's always going to be difficult for Kami to land it onto multiple heroes, and well, just the posturing is all we get from either side as no real big fight occurs.
I gotta say, Hydra are doing a pretty good job to make this lead not balloon out into something worse. Of course, they're being helped out a little bit by some deep dives from StoRm, and they're still going to end up losing this tier 2 tower up on the top side, but I was really thinking that this game was approaching being over after the first 10 or so minutes with how far ahead you were able to get in all 3 of the lanes, but well, they're giving themselves these small opportunities, right? Maelstrom's now picked up from the Faceless Void. He's got a tier 2 neutral item. He's got his level 2 ultimate to be able to play around with. And he's even looking to put a little bit of aggressive pressure in onto the map, realizing how juicy of a target he is and relying on his own individual skill to potentially scout out some of these movements. But now you've even got a pipe to be able to play around with as well on the Tidehunter. So regardless of who gets jumped on, you're just going to be so much more sustainable. Rocks available, 4 points Shadow Word, level 2 ultimate on the Wraith King with a Desolator as well. It's just so much damage coming into you.
And look at the wraparound from Nicky Cool. I mean, incredible read from him. Still, the glimpse is going to prove to be an issue, stopping them from getting those kills, but it sends them away from the formation they were starting to set up with their defense.
And they use the glyph as well. So, I mean, it's so crazy to say only 18 minutes in, but you lose another fight. High Ground's in a little bit of danger as well.
They're coming, though. They want to make sure this does not go for free. They're even starting to bring Cloud over from the bottom side. He's very close to Blink, just needs his camp. Has it completed. They even have the Veil as well, so a couple big items. They'll get the Denied to help out, but These towers are still falling, so more map control is going the way of StoRm.
And more importantly, no BKBs for them to have to worry about, right? So Disruptor and Skywrath are still going to give a lot of value in these impending fights, even just from the Maelstrom and the...
Are they baiting Katie? But he's got some heroes playing behind him at the moment. The Rock's only going to be onto one, but the Mystic Flare will secure the dual victory. First of the game for Cloud. And now they've got the corridor to go through as well, but the sidestep. Katie, he's going to be able to miss it. The Ravage as well is not the greatest from Dominic, but importantly, StoRm, they've been able to stand strong, and now they can look to chase them down as Kami. Time walk back up in a couple of seconds. Can he get enough distance away, though? There's no real blink for Katie to follow.
He's still got another onslaught available right now just because he's got that arcane rune to be able to play around with. Just an 11-second cooldown. Really feels like Nicky Cool's looking for any excuse to just be able to go in. Would love some high ground vision right now, especially at nighttime. Looks like that's what Seneko is moving forward to be able to do. They're going to back off. Oh,
glimpse back. Who do they get? It's going to be Dominic.
They see Kami on the left as well.
Pretty tanky on the Tide, though. And like you said, they see Kami. How are they going to try and start again? Pretty difficult without the blink on Katie. They might just disengage. I mean, ultimates are starting to come back on for Dire. Importantly, the Jewel and the Mystic Flare.
So they got one duel victory. Positive signs, right? Smoke on smoke. Embers is immediately going to get cancelled. Walking up into Dominic.
Oh, Cloud. Nice jump in. That's a pretty good target on the techies, but the pipe's going to mitigate a little bit of the damage. They'll still be able to get the tilt, but the return is there from StoRm. Cloud, protected for the moment. Kinetic field, they've got a sidestep out to the left, and still StoRm. They're taking fights without their ultimates. This is not one they want to continue on, but they might be forced to with Happy continuing to chase. Glimpse up in a couple seconds. Static Storm at the ready as well, but they will not try and go for it.
Gotta say, the thing that I'd be most disappointed about if I'm playing on StoRm is that Nicky Cool's influence has dropped off, in my opinion. Like, he's 5-1-1, don't get me wrong, but he's only had the Vitality booster towards the Heart of Taras for quite some time, and I just keep thinking back to what if that was a BKB instead, because I really feel like he's been inches away from being able to land this huge Pulverize onto a target that can really only be stopped by a Chronosphere. As long as the Chronosphere isn't up, you've just got free reign to be able to run into a lot of these fights and probably target down the Legion Commander first and foremost.
Yeah, it feels like is there an argument to be made that maybe they're trying to force the issue a little bit too much? Because we've seen as well, like you said, like Nicky Cool can start, but there's no one really there to follow up. Now you have it with the blink on Katie, but maybe if you farmed a little bit of extra, minute or so, you'd have that, and maybe you'd have the heart by now as well.
I think you could honestly afford to farm a little bit more now, right? You've taken every single tower except tier 2 bottom, which is basically dead as well, right? So it's not like they have a ton of farm to be able to pick up around the map if you're Hydra. So just get into that next item, get into that next big power spike. For the Wraith King, it's going to be an AC, just enabling them to secure whatever pickoff they're going for. Well, quick blink on Katie, but just out of vision. Able to get the blink back on Cloud. But yeah, I mean, Blink Dagger itself is nice, but you want that in combination with something else like a blink on the Tide or the full heart on the Primal Beast. Even just a Blink Dagger or a BKB for him might be a little bit too slow, considering how many times they've gone for fights that haven't exactly worked out for them.
Oh, they're going to continue to try and force a fight, though, nonetheless. Into Roche they go. And looks like it should go for free. Meanwhile, we did have... I thought we had some items. It was... Oh, yeah. There was a DD picked up from Warwick, which is kind of something close to BKB. And looks like Happy was trying to solo smoke to maybe get some wards down to set up for a fight. But looks like they want nothing to do with this Roshan, though.
This is farming time for them, right? We talked about the potential for Hydra to be able to scale into that later stages of the game. And, well, Kami, the last Chronosphere, it wasn't perfect, but you just saw that there was the potential for it to be huge. And he's even just doing his job of pushing in some of these side lanes, forcing some more defensive moves in onto him. You know, if they're doing Roshan, they probably need the Wraith King to be able to do it, right? So he doesn't feel in too much danger. They don't have a Blink Dagger, as far as they know, yet on the Tide Hunter. And you're going to hear the Primal Beast coming every single time. So it's a lot more emphasis being put up top. They're pinging it out right now, and it's going to force out a TP from here. So you know that Katie's TP'd. You see that he doesn't have it. So maybe now they make a move down, wrap around together, go through the Twin Gate, and move down towards the bottom side.
Is that Roche worth it, man? They just got like 2,000 gold by the time they were roaching. They got a tier 1 mid. Someone, like you said, you had to TP top to be able to deal with a wave. Someone needs to go mid to deal with this wave now. It's going to take you at least a minute or so to be able to get back out on the map. And just, did you feel like that roach was worth it with how long it took and what Hydra were actually able to get?
I don't think it was worth it if you give it over to Katie. I think it was worth it if you give it to the Primal Beast instead, just because you've already got that second life to be able to play around with, and Primal's the one diving in onto the front lines, and he has a heart in now, so he's going to be the one really looking to dive, create a lot of attention away. And if he's just got that second life where you still have the trample, you still have the pulverize and all that to be able to play around with, then I feel like you're in a really good spot to be able to close things out. Gonna go for a smoke though, making the most of this timing that they've been able to pick up.
Let's
enough, though.
Or Katie. I can just charge on forward. Lil, I don't. Yeah, yeah, it's not happening. Just 2 right clicks, quick and easy kill, and Kami's going to be able to TPR a big item. 1J, this Lotus Orb here for the techies. I mean, to dispel the chains, the Mystic Flare as well, preventing potentially the Jewel, the time dilation. There's a lot you're going to be able to do with the Lotus Orb now for the techies, so that could really enable Nicky Cool inside some of these team fights if you want to give it to him.
Seems like they're just trying to walk down this last lane now. Get into their AC. You've reached level 15 as well on the Wraith King. Not wanting to go the full-on rat with the Skeleton's attack damage, just that extra 0.75 seconds on the Wraith Fire Blast stun. So vital up against a Faceless Void and an Ember Spirit, just to provide the smallest amount of extra damage output. Warwick, he's doing his best to try and slow things down. He's cutting that mid wave. He's looking to try and force this game out, take away the siege creep as much as he can. He's got enough, well, actually he doesn't have enough for buyback, so he has to be playing pretty carefully. But again, with this Aegis, this is the sort of move that StoRm need to be making. They want to try and close this one out as quickly as possible.
And they'll force him back. One of the Kami's not back here though, so continuing to... Well, he's got enough gold for this Mjolnir if he wants to complete it. So they will be able to take Hydra's Tormentor. So Agshard now onto Seneko. Okay, very cool. I haven't really spoken too much about his item decision with this Midas. Looks like he's gonna go into the Glimmer Cape next and Drum. So he definitely will have the chance to be able to buy a little bit more cheap items for StoRm to be able to potentially get over the finish line. What do we feel like the decision should be from him?
From Seneko?
Yeah, just in regard to his items.
I think whatever items he's going for is fine, because I think what he's got in his quick buy, is fine, because the thing that he's going for is his level 15 timing. You know, Wraith King, he's good at a lot of things, but he doesn't have the greatest attack speed to be able to play around with. So if you could just have that upheaval attack speed, constantly hitting in onto these high ground towers with an AC, with your imps constantly moving on forward, it's a lot to have to address, and you really don't want to be jumping into Chronosphere just a Warlock at the start of a lot of these fights.
Bottom lane, what's going on? They got a pretty good lane ward. I mean, 2 lane wards, in fact, on bottom, so a lot of information for them. Meanwhile, Warwick might solo kill Seneko in the mid lane. A nice little kill here for him to pick up. Nicky Cool's going to try and protect him. BKB is actually going to be activated for her. They did know where the Remnant was, though, previously. That was scouted out thanks to Nicky Cool, so they can continue to maybe chase him, but... because we do see Hydra doing a very good job to continue to stall this game. Kami still has not left this top side.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job on Kami. Even Warwick, right? Like, he's 3rd on net worth right now on this Ember Spirit after pretty easily losing that mid lane by at least 1,000 gold. He's just doing his job of cutting the waves. This is very ballsy to do, especially considering you did use your BKB prior. You're showing with very little mana to be able to play around with. Going to find
nice scan. Oh, they jump a little bit too far forward. Oh, do they vision? Do they see him?
Oh my. He's playing on the edge, man. And he's picked up that Mjolnir as well. So the damage is coming for Faceless Void for sure. Who would love to? I mean, you got to give the... I guess it doesn't matter who picks it up, but Lil would love the Wisdom Rune coming through to him now, just for that big amount of extra damage coming through from the Mystic Flare, because they are getting quite tanky on Storm side. You don't have any percent.
Oh, jump in. Oh, what a reaction out of Kami. Instant BKB. Very quick on the fingers. It is now on cooldown for 80, which could be a bit of an opportunity for StoRm.
That anchor, sorry. Keep laughing at it. Oh, and they're even going to yoink this, maybe. Ooh.
Okay, Cloud gets it.
Who almost has his own BKB, so he can feel a little bit more reliable in going in for fights.
He can, but man, 36 dual damage, you definitely, when you're playing Legion, you look down at that figure. It's not going to feel too good for him overall.
Now you can see that Kami has a lot more boys playing around him. Previously, he's just trying to be as isolated as possible, force people to TP back just for him to enable a little bit more of the rest of his team while also securing his own farm. But now he's being flanked.
Aggressive jump on a Cloud. They're going to Ravage as well. They want to force the fight, StoRm. They've been pulled apart left, right, center across the map, but they've had enough of this cat and mouse type of game. Kami, though, he's going to find a pretty goddamn big Chronosphere. It sets up for Happy Static StoRm as well. They'll be able to get the first kill on the Tide Hunter, but of course the Reincarnation's going to come into play now. And have they used too much for the first round of lives? There's now Nicky Cool, who'll hold Warwick into place, which enables Katie to reposition. But Warwick has nothing to fear now inside the team fight, nor does Cloud as well. But Nicky Cool, another reinitiation with the help of Katie. They'll get the kill onto Warwick, but Kami now can try and turn it back around. He's not going to be able to go through the physical damage unless he gets some crazy bashes. Kami up against Katie. The life still, it's not going to be good enough as Kami refreshes thanks to the time walk. And Hydra, finally, they've been doing such a good job to stall out this game, but finally a fight breaks out and they will actually come out on top.
They will indeed. You just see all of that damage coming out from the Faceless Void. 3-man Chronosphere. Of course, it's still the Wraith King doing the majority of the work there. Nice Ravage as well, and the Chaotic Offering to be able to help him out a little bit on the latter ends. But it's just even the impact of having another big overwhelming odds that they're able to pop off at plus 50 talent that he was able to get at level 15, and now he's level 18 as well on Cloud. Couple of extra duel victories. It really does start to all come together, especially considering he's just picked up that BKB. But it comes down to the fact of, well, if you go for another aggressive attempt and you end up dying attempting to go for one of these dual victories, you don't have a buyback now on your Legion Commander, and he is a big part of their success, not just for the dual potential, but also to be able to get that save off onto the Pulverize whenever Nicky Cool's using it. Who, by the way, has a Blink Dagger for himself as well.
And they're setting up down bottom on him, though.
I don't know.
Oh, they can. They've got 5 heroes coming. He's dead. 3,400 health if they get on him. A little bit too late, though. Did he bought Shard on Nicky Cool? Okay.
No, they got it from the Tormentor.
Oh, they did? Oh,
they just did, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I saw the Cory coming out. I didn't check what was on it.
Nah, it's just a TP scroll, which he did not deliver to himself. So, well, good job. And he buys another one. 3 TPs, just plenty. I need to see a BKB on Nicky Cool, man. Like,
yes.
He's just getting controlled far too easily, and it's getting to the point where it was a little bit odd that they haven't been able to make the most out of this early game dominance coming through. Of course, Roshan's down bottom as well.
Maybe now, though. I mean, the winner of this fight will be able to claim that prize of Roshan and really could turn the game into their advantage. Dominic's going to try and find an angle. They'll drop the ward as well and scout Kami out. Do they want to full commit onto the Faceless Void? If they got the damage to blow him up, Nicky Cool feels otherwise. He's going to find an opportunity to jump both supports down to the south. The forces out a Static Storm, which doesn't really give them too much now. As a Ravage Kami, he's going to be able to dodge it. BKB used, press the attack, gets rid of the Pulverize, and Chaos now breaks out. As they're going to be able to jump over to the right side, Kami once again finds another Chronosphere onto 2. They'll be able to deal with the Reincarnation, and can they set themselves up for the second round? There was Katie and StoRm. They've got the numbers to be able to continue the chase. They know that Kami's vulnerable with the BKB being on cooldown, so Nicky Cool, with the help of Dominic, is going to be able to chase him into the tree line. Time walks back up in a couple seconds with a kinetic field placement. Kami looks like he'll be able to get out unscathed, but nonetheless, though, Roche should go the way of StoRm.
And this one feels a little bit more impactful, right? Once again, cue up the BKB, Nicky, please. Yeah. Like, you're just getting caught inside of these kinetic fields, inside of these static storms, getting locked down. It's just way too much for mine. And, well, the cheese, of course, going to enable him to potentially play even more on the front lines. Gotta say that it was some really nice juking by Cloud. He nearly die-backed in that fight, but just playing around the vision they had around the left-hand side of that fight, was able to move his way away, stay away from the Tide Hunter and survive on about 20 HP. So not gonna be dead for this super long period of time, and
they come and
they can't, surely.
I don't know. It's a 3v5 if a fight breaks out now. They don't know that. They're still gonna try and take it though. And can Radiant get down fast enough if a fight actually breaks out? They're going to try and target with the Wraith King, who, keep in mind, they did give him the Aegis. It's a pretty good charge in, but it's not really going to matter. They can't capitalize on the opportunity that Nicky Cool gave them. They'll turn to the Primal Beast, but he's got the cheese as well to go back up to full health. Hydra, happy with at least the start. I mean, they did get a dual victory. And now they're looking for more as well. Nicky Cool.
Throw. Oh!
Won't be able to go through. But it's going to be up to the Tide Hunter to jump over the top. They do have the dead in the water in 3 seconds.
Give him the anchor.
They want to continue chasing into the base, though. We saw what happened prior to taking a fight into Hydra's domain.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm sure they're asking how long till Chrono. That's the big question that you just cannot let Kami have even greater stages to be able to get up into this game. I mean, he's approaching this really scary point on the Faceless Void.
The Wraith King's going Scepter, dude. Very interesting decision from Katie.
Please tell me he's got the BKB queued. Come on, Nicky Cole, please. That's all I ask.
Ooh, the smoke as well from StoRm. Straight to top lane they go.
This is into the Chrono, remember?
See if Kami's going to be able to find some multiple people. I think they got a glimpse of the car. They're going to drop the higher ground ward as well, as Dominic will find the dead in the water with the BKB still available here for him to work with. He's going to try and get it off, but the Pulverize, it'll stop any threat of a Chrono turnaround. And that is a gigantic opening now for StoRm. 75 seconds without Kami's Faceless Void. Instantly you see Hydra going to try and deal with the side lanes.
Yeah, every single one is being dealt with. Lil knowing that he only has a certain amount of time to be able to make that sort of play. Who, by the way, has the Aghanim Scepter along with the Veil. So he is dishing out a lot of damage on this Skywrath Mage now, especially considering the recent buff to the Arcane Bolt. He doesn't even have Arcane Bolt maxed out either. So really are going to be able to dish out so much more effectiveness in a lot of these fights. Not without your Faceless Void, that's the main concern. It's an early glyph as well. It stops Katie from being able to take that top tower, but it means that you're not going to be able to get rid of these siege creeps in the mid lane.
It's oh, Nicky Cool, that's under a tier 4 tower. Ravage comes up before the static storm. They're gonna have a little bit extra team fight control to work with, along with Sineko's Rock as well, but the buybacks, that's gonna be vital to the success of Hydra now. They're dealt with the reincarnation, but can they kill Katie a second time? StoRm, they're continuing to fight behind the throne. It'll work out now with getting the guaranteed kill onto Warwick. But Hydra, they can look to go very shortly. Warwick, he can buy back, especially with the Chrono, but StoRm, they want to give them no opportunity to take a fight now. Out the base they go.
That's a valuable piece of information, though. If you're not buying back then, you're never buying back, because you could not have asked for a juicier Chronosphere. They were right underneath those tier 4s. Just one time walk away, and there would have been no way for them to be able to escape from that. So still ends up being a full lane of racks claimed, but oh, that was a risky play for them to be able to go for.
Dude, and now this ward, it's an obvious ward, but it's giving them so much information. StoRm, they're going to use it perfectly onto Happy, who doesn't have a buyback. Now, that's a pretty decent Chrono. They're going to have the extra damage thanks to Lil's Mystic Flare as well. They're going to be able to take out 2 key components inside the fight, and now they've got the jewel as well. Victory over the Cloud, but Kami, he's in some danger, man. Time Walk at the last second, dodges the blast off, and Kami should... No, he's not going to live! Katie! Jumps over the top. He's been able to get enough gold for the buyback, but if he looks to rejoin, he's not going to have the Chrono as Nicky Cool senses blood in the water. There's a big opportunity for StoRm to knock out Hydra right here and right now.
They got to get those creeps in, though, man. All 3 lanes once again shoved out, hitting into backdoor protection right now. And, I mean, this is composure coming through from Kami as well. Not instantly popping that buyback, realizing that he's going to have at least a little bit of time, some of that indecision. Will he, won't he? That's the real question that they're asking themselves right now. And with that, I mean, Lil, he's been able to get another couple of levels, more reduction.
Oh, Cloud. They're in for the quick kill. Nicky Cool, what's he going to be able to do afterwards? The Pulverize has already been used. is a quick charge towards the back line, but it's just giving important space for Katie to be able to deal with the objectives.
You think they're thinking, well, they dived tier 4s previously, let's just wait for them to do it again.
They're going to go for this play.
Oh.
Static Storm, little Mystic Flare still cooldown for the moment. It's going to be up to Warwick with the damage. It's a decent chunk at the moment. Over to the right side, they've been able to assassinate one of the supports. They'll find a second and look at the instant jump. The Aghanim Scepter giving them so much value. That is well deserved. There are a couple of voice lines. You got the kill, but he was still involved for the later seconds to be able to knock some of the Hydra members out of this game.
It's always a matter, though, of just being afraid of Kami. The big bad faceless void is back. Yeah, they don't get it for absolutely free. Of course, the Wraith King with his Desolator and the AC is such a huge component of any sort of high ground push. Is Kami going to look to try and take a Tormentor for free? Is he looking to potentially just get out on the map and pick up a bit of free farm? He's going to be able to dodge the Tide Hunter for now. Has to get a sense that...
Dude, it's crazy.
Hunt him.
He's got the Invis. He's going to see Nikki Cool straight away. Ravage is there. They've got a Hex as well. The chain control. It's going to be there from StoRm. They will have plenty of damage. It's too late, though. Oh, no. We got BKB off. That was a huge opportunity. Wait, leash? They go? Okay.
You can't improve until you make mistakes.
It's a big sigh of relief, for sure, for Hydra, right? Not having to worry about that Ravage for the next little bit. Doesn't have any cooldown reduction on Dominic. He went for a Shivers on Nikki Cool. Come on, man. Don't do this to me. But he is
he's balling.
Right?
Yeah.
He's balling, but he could be balling even stronger if he didn't have to worry about these supports.
No, he says, screw you, BKB. One Scepter now next as well.
Ah! Give me the BKB, please. Oh, man, there's a DD bottom as well. Where's
you wanted or do you with a Kami? Yeah.
I mean...
So G with a Katie.
You gotta just pick it up. No one else is close enough.
Is he happy with this observe? What? Yeah. Happy gotta be quick. Does this game slow down now with Roshan potentially up in a minute? Or does StoRm continue to hold a decent chunk of the map and just kind of shove Hydra inside their base?
The big factor for mine is the Legion Commander, with how farmed and how much he's actually scaling now. Like, still net worth, the Warlock's nearly beating him, but plus 216 damage at this stage is pretty significant. And you also do need to consider as well the some of the neutral items that he's got. He previously had the Vindicator's Axe, gives great value for the Legion Commander with all that extra damage that you're able to output, but now he's even got a Ninja Gear, so he's just consistently wanting to be getting these...
And he sees 1J.
Pickoffs. Yep.
And he's going to be able to get that pick off as well. StoRm, they just kind of have to sit idly by in the high ground and maybe not idle for too long as Warwick. Going to jump over to Seneko, revealing that fresh Aghanim Scepter. So I want to continue to speak about Cloud a little bit with this damage that he's gotten. Who's the priority for him in all these fights? Who is he dueling?
To me personally, it's Seneko, just because I feel like a lot of the time if you're killing the...
Well, he won't have it now.
Hold on.
Yeah, Katie. Oh, they know he's there, though. Works the first point of contact. Not an easy person to get that chain control. They're not even going to actually make the attempt. So multiple people are still under the cover of the smoke, though.
Yeah, they broke the Blink Dagger, though, with that Remnant. But yeah, I feel like if you're going on this Wraith King first, you got to make sure that there's not that potential there for the secondary life to come through, right? It's going to be just fine.
4v5, Kami. How can he land this Chronosphere? Who's able to bait for him to get that set up? He just wants the vision, but it's going to come at a cost of his own life. They'll lose the gem as well. And now you don't have that numbers advantage, but Kami doesn't care. Finds the Chronosphere. Vill's going to be able to drop the Mystic Flare, but the instant response is out from Seneko. Now with the Chrono, it has been completely wasted. It's up to Warwick now. The Emperor's going to try and go for the finishing blow onto Dominic, but the BKB has expired. First stun's there. Cloud's going to try and jump in as well. He won't be able to get anything off momentarily with a turnaround for the Tide Ghost. It'll hold him down for a couple of seconds, and that is all they need out of StoRm and Hydra. They just forced the issue. And it might cost them even more, dude. Kami, he's getting chased down. Nikki Cool's got the Pulverize. Where's the chain control with the blink? It's up in a couple seconds from Katie. They're not going to go for it, though.
Rock Throw not able to claim that there, and... well, they should know that Roshan is about to respawn, but it's a question of, well, do we want to wait for it even? You know, they've shown how relatively slow they can be at taking it. Yes, it's a value one to be able to get another free Aghanim Scepter for themselves, but I mean, Katie is just saying, let's keep on going in. Sure, I don't have the reincarnation, but there's no Legion Commander to lock me in place. There's no Chronosphere either.
Nikki, cool. Lot of damage. All right.
He just wants to get away
Very.
from that gem.
Ooh, I mean, it's a big opportunity, and they're going to try and get full usage out of it. You have the reincarnation up in a couple of seconds. Katie's going to pop a BKB on his first life. He'll try and turn to deal with the Faceless Void, but a Grace Force Staff gets him out of danger. Happy's going to be able to jump over the top as well, but the kinetic field's in a perfect location. Both these heroes will not be able to retreat, and now Warwick's going to try and deal with Snake off into the tree line as well. They brought back on Nikki, cool, but the outpost is too far away from the team fight. This is a heavy investment, and they're going to get no value out of it. Kami playing with fire, but a quick time walk repairs some of the damage, and Hydra, it seems like they're back in this game off one mistake out of StoRm.
Oh, I wouldn't even say it's one mistake. It's a number of them coming together. Now Kami's level 25, almost level 26, and it's getting to this period of the game where Refresher starts to come into the equation. He's got one queued up now, but if they want, all they need to do is wait another 30 seconds, and that Roshan is going to patrol up towards the top side, and they can get one for free. Just got a little bit too confident with themselves, pushing up onto that high ground, not respecting the damage output that's coming out from Cloud. Had a rough start to this game, but certainly come back in a big way. Who do we even give this to? Is it just free Disruptor eggs? He's already bought one.
Yeah, I mean, you can make an argument for a lot of people. Looks like Kami says, screw you. And that's Scepter's mine, brother. He's carrying this game.
He needs to buy a shard for sure then. Just get so much more value with that time walk and the Ag shard.
100% agree. All right, holy crap. What's it? I mean, do they have the net worth lead? What?
Yep.
So that's the first time this game that Hydra have been able to gain a net worth lead 45 minutes in.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
If they lose this game, let that be a lesson to all of you non-BKB buyers. Just buy the BKB. It would have let them go on the backlines. I'm pretty sure like that was just the second fight that Katie had a BKB of his own as well. So even he's getting kited around a little bit.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
You don't think the 12-2 and 9's enough?
Ugh.
BKB would mean he wouldn't die those 2 times?
It would mean that they would have won the game 12 minutes ago, probably.
Are they going to be able to do off the back of the smoke? Hydra, they've used their own as well. Taking a fight into Aegis. Refresher as well for Kami in the backpack. They've got a really good ward to work with. They're going to probably want to try and deal with the backline supports instead of going for Kami, but they don't see anyone just yet because of this smoke.
No, they're Ninja Gears. They're both Ninja Gears, so they're able to play around that. They're just putting the Aegis shielded target on the front lines for now. They kind of want Kami to be the one that gets jumped. They want them to use all of those cooldowns for him.
is under attack.
Doesn't have a buyback though if he does die those 2 times.
Oh, they're grouping up for a Ravage. They're going to try and start Dominic with a Ravage. It's going to clip onto 3. They'll deal with the Disruptor. They'll deal with the Legion as well. Kami's still going to be able to turn the tides potentially, but the Chronosphere gets both the supports. They'll assassinate the Warlock and they'll turn to 1J, but he's got the Aeon Disc momentarily to protect him. Still, it's looking like a decent fight for either side. I mean, you forced out multiple buybacks, and StoRm, they're just happy with that.
I would say StoRm is pretty happy, right? You get 2 buybacks out of Hydra, and they really can't look to do too much else unless they go full on balls to the wall and look to try and, end it now, which I think would be a big mistake, right? Like, you don't want to force a fight where you've got the potential for a true, 7-on-3 engagement if you just get a quick pick off onto the Legion Commander and the Disruptor. Here's the main target for them right now. Happy just to be able to take that one away, and
I've always wanted to be a space crab.
just need a little bit of a break. Quick pause to be able to come through. No Ravage available for the Tide Hunter. No buyback available for the Techie. Still 250 gold away. No BKB on the Primal Beast.
Dude, I hope they can all rejoin the game. I don't know why. Just I feel like that needs to be said. I see 5 people disconnect. See a TI qualifier on the line, and I don't know, I get a little bit worried.
Also just thinking as well, like the you have to go the Mortal Strike cooldown for sure. Level 25 on the Wraith King, the Reincarnation casting Wraith Fire Blast. If Wraith King's dead, it feels like the fight's kind of over. I think Kami's BKB usage has been really on point this game, and he's well and truly taken over that top net worth spot. 11,000 gold ahead of his next closest rival, and well, they're even taking some of these objectives. This is the first tier 2 tower they've taken. They're pinging out the bottom side as well a little bit, maybe just not wanting to go up onto the high ground just yet. They would love to have that one more time to be able to have a double use out of the BKB and the Chronosphere while still having the Aegis.
Is there a potential for them to try and base race on Storm? I see them setting up
about it. I mean,
okay.
You think they're going for it just because Katie will have the buyback very shortly, and he's got AC in the Desolator? Is that what you're thinking?
I just saw 3 heroes top and didn't know what they were trying. Oric is also by himself, but the Lincolns is instant pop, but great reaction out of the slider. So only Dominic that shows.
Have to be very careful there. Could have just got dead in the water.
You can't improve until you make mistakes.
Still had the boys there to be able to potentially get the pick off, and I honestly thought they would have had the damage if you just lock him in place.
Oh, so okay. If you get dead in the water before BKB, you're leashed, right?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to. Well, I mean, it says you can't dispel it, but I don't know. New abilities. I don't know if there's some weird mechanics or some crap like that.
I'm just watching the boys on the top side. Look at the boys pushing down that lane. Get him, boys. Oh, poor Warwick is just gonna... Oh, no. It's a nightmare. Feels bad.
Well, he's got an Arcane as well, actually, for Warwick. So if the fight breaks out, are you looking to force the issue now for Hydra? Like, you got a minute left. They're actually going to smoke with the whole team.
This is
so
the timing I was talking about, right? Where you get a double use out of the BKB and the Chrono, and you still have the Aegis.
Oh, Nicky cool.
Available.
He bought back prior. That's a target you want to go on. 4,700 health they'd have to go through. Happy's going to drop the ward. They'll see him. Okay. Gets the blink away, but that should reveal the ward placement from Storm. Do they want to try and reoccupy this area? It's not going to be easy for them to do so.
Be careful to run away, and I mean, you can't take a Tormentor right now, but they'll take the Wisdom Rune at least. Would have been a disaster if the Legion Commander was able to pick that one up, just for that extra little bit of utility. They're taking map control. They're getting really good use out of this Aegis right now. Another 20 seconds. It's very clear that Storm are conscious of running into this giga scary Kami Faceless Void. Just 5 seconds away, though, before they can finally make their play. And they instantly go for the smoke after taking the Tormentor.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's another one of those things, though, where this might be a bit obvious. Ooh. Say that. They end up walking up on into him.
Warwick's gone in. Warwick's in. Meanwhile, over to the right side, there's going to be a Chronosphere that clips onto 2 as well. They want to try and get through to the type before the Ravage. Aeon Disc is going to be able to stop that for the moment. He should still get it off in a second. Can they continue on? The fight's going to be kited over to the right side. Refreshed use from Kami's second round of the Chrono. And that's going to be enough to turn the fight into their favor. As now Kami's not even done just yet. They'll scout out Nicky Cool. Of course, they know he bought back prior. Tricks the cloak. It'll only buy him some moments of peace, but once it expires, they can chase him down. He'll jump over to the top, but there is no running as Hydra. 0 casualties from them. What a goddamn team fight. They're coming in, though. All right, Nicky's not dead, dude. How is this man still alive? Katie's going to try and protect him as well as Cloud. Find some separation. What was looking disastrous somehow might actually turn out to be a good fight for Storm, as Nicky Cool will eventually be able to catch up to Cloud. That's a dieback for the Legion. And how did the fight just turn like that all of a sudden?
It's just the Wraith King buyback, right? They were able to come in, join in with all of that extra damage. It ends up costing them a lot, but similar to what you were talking about with the Primal Beast not having buyback.
Well, Kami's teaming out in front of them! Kami, no! Oh, no. this. They're running over. Katie's going to try and cut off the retreat. He's got Blink in a couple of seconds. He'll be able to follow. He'll use the stun early.
Oh.
Look at him trying to predict. No, Kami goes the other way. But the Hex is there. Sineko's got the first stun. There surely should be more afterwards. There surely should be all the control they need. Kami, it's going to be the long escape, the greatest escape. And there's no way he gets out.
Oh, how does he get out of that? He just guessed the wrong way on Katie. Blinked to the right-hand side before the time walk had even been used. And, well, he gets away with one there on Kami. Eventually going to sell the Midas just so that he is saying, whew, I got to make sure I've got my buyback because that was way too close. Little
50 seconds or...
to level 20. Got that global concussive available as well. This is it. They know there's no LC.
Oh, Lincoln's pop. They got the Hex. Not going to go for it, though. All eyes onto the objectives. Let's see if they're going to be able to keep track of the chrono timing. Kami committed with a jump into. They want to use all their stun to potentially secure the kill. As Kami turns to try and deal with the Wraith King. Meanwhile, I mean, Nikki Cool under a tier 4 tower. He's just so isolated from the boys. No one's going to be able to get there because they're taking their own fight. Rock and Hex, Ravage. It's too late, though. Warwick gets an opportunity to pop the BKB and simultaneously back over the right side. The space will be all for nothing as StoRm don't even get the kill onto Warwick.
Oh, at least Sineko is able to micro his Warlock Golem into taking the racks, so there's just the one melee barracks left on that bottom-hand side, but what space made by Warwick there, just cutting off 4 people to be able to join in onto that team fight, and even just preventing the Wraith King Aghanim Scepter from having that impact onto giving him the second life.
Oh my god.
I mean, even just, it was a couple of fights ago, but Kami, his Chronospheres have been basically entirely on point. Even in that previous one where they had to buy back on the Wraith King to be able to turn it around, he was holding the Ravage for the longest time on Dominic because he was inside of that Wraith form. He realized that he had the potential to be able to use the Ravage at the very end of his death timer, but then the Chronosphere happened on top of him again while catching someone else, and it really just goes to show that even though someone might be quote-unquote out of the game, they haven't left Kami's mind.
Radiant are scanning.
He needs a Moonshard right now on the Faceless Void. Not going to get too much bigger than he is right now.
Dire are scanning.
What's the buyback status as well? I mean, that's probably the most valuable thing at this stage of the game. I mean, only Nikki Cool is the one with buyback on the boys on StoRm. Die, they got 3 buybacks to work with, and Legions is up surely. Well, Tide's very close as well with the goal.
Very close, yeah. This is scary stuff, man, and this is what we come to expect in these TI qualifiers. Just a couple of mistakes can be enough to make things turn against you. They're going to start on Roche, but it's going to start moving top in another 10 seconds. Really doesn't seem like StoRm want to go anywhere near leaving their base, though, and this is going to be the first one that Hydra are going to be claimed for the entire game.
They're in a really scary position where Kami can solo the Wraith King without even having to use Chrono. I mean, always the biggest thing about this matchup is the fact that you often will need the Chrono to get the kill on the Wraith King. Once you get to the stage where you don't, all of a sudden this matchup does not feel favorable for him at all. And now you've got, I mean, Happy Scepter, which is great. I mean, that just in itself could be enough to completely turn the fight. This could, without a doubt, catch StoRm off guard, and that could be devastating when you go into the Ages as well, right, on Legion. So that's huge. I didn't see where the cheese went. Cheese in the backpack of the Legion as well.
All right, Aries, no cheating. What's the win probability?
I think it's like 76 for Hydra?
Nope. 58 for StoRm.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, all those objectives that they were able to claim just kind of outweighing it a little bit right now. And yeah, we can see here it has been going back and forth. Some of those buybacks being expended, though, were a pretty big deal to be able to push it once more back in StoRm's favor. But you got to say, it's still a good 3 minutes or so until the Wraith King is going to have his buyback. So is the time come to... Oh, he's buying the BKB, man. I'm so happy. The Primal Beast, finally. But it might be too late. You know, imagine if you finally get caught inside of a static storm and he's like, wait a minute, we can't even use this thing.
That would be kind of that would be devastating indeed. So, I mean, you don't really have any wards out on the map as well to be able to scout. So, What are you going to be able to do on StoRm? You got one current ward around your triangle, which is about to expire. You must take a fight where you have a higher ground vision advantage. But even then, your fights need to be perfect too. I mean, we're not even... Dominic, like, they need some big items still on StoRm. They're not capped out. Dominic needs his refresher. Katie, I need a damage item or something. He's going refresher as well. Okay, so... We'll see.
An abyssal or something is something you might have been wanting? Just more lockdown with this Faceless Void? I mean, even just holding Ember Spirit into place feels like a pretty useful thing, because Warwick's been making so much space in a lot of these fights.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
I mean, Warwick has really been the unsung hero, I think, for Hydra. I mean, we've definitely praised him a little bit, but I don't think enough.
Walking through the Twin Gate now, though. And Warlock doesn't have buyback.
And Warlock is going to die as a result of this. Seneko lose the gem. And meanwhile in the base, guys, there's a Chrono to 2. Let's see if they're going to have any follow-up as well. They've already refreshed this with a backpack of Kami, but they're going to be able to deal with the Titan Hunter before the Ravage. Can Dominic get it off in time? He can't. He still has this Ghost form to look to work with. Nice timing out of the press to attack as Ravage flies out. It's not really the greatest one as Cloud is going to be able to secure the kill onto Dominic with the instant buyback StoRm. Can they end up coming out on top of this fight inside their base? They're going to do whatever they can on Kami, but they turn on the Chrono. It's on to 3. It's beautiful from Kami, but the damage is something that's lacking. Not until Lil's able to drop the Mystic Flare, but it's still just not enough as now Kami is completely out of mana, and it looks like there's going to be no way he can survive. He somehow gets a Time Walk away. That's enough to give him the cheese. Oh my god, the individual plays from Hydra. It's going to be enough to keep Kami alive.
And when it does get them, it might cost them the Aegis, but it gets them a buyback finally out of this Tide Hunter. His anchor is really doing a lot. And look at all these mines even inside the base. The party hats coming down. Even if it was an absolute worst case scenario, it's going to slow things down a little bit. And I mean, you can't even discount the impact of this Aghanim Scepter on the Primal Beast as well. Just to be able to get rid of that Moment of Courage procs, to be able to get rid of the Time Lock bashes as well. It's so vital at just preventing Kami from being able to go for these big man fights that it's so rough. Like, you need to catch everyone inside of the Chronosphere, and he's been getting good 2-3 man Chronos, but unless you're catching Nicky Cool, you're finding it so much harder to be able to 100-0 a lot of these people.
Yeah.
It's level 30 now.
Never refuse.
That buyback on Tide means you can kind of kiss the refresher goodbye. It's not going to happen unless we go like 80 minutes. Kami? A start to Nicky Cool, but he's got some boys playing behind him. BKB is going to be up in a couple of seconds, but really importantly, there's no Chrono for Hydra to work with. They're splitting away. Nicky's a little bit isolated for the moment. They want to jump to backline support, but what a dual timing from Cloud onto the Titan Hunter. But the damage is on there, but a starting StoRm Scepters onto 3. It's beautiful. Happy. What an ultimate potentially to turn the fight, but it doesn't look like it's enough at the moment. Kaidi tries to stand strong against Kami. Kami's going to jump over the top, wants to deal with the Primal Beast instead, but Kami backtracks now. They're dancing in and out. It's just so clean from Hydra, and they're going to be rewarded once again with a team fight victory.
Seems like a crazy place to be able to take one of those fights, right? You just bought back on the Tide Hunter. The lanes are naturally going to push in towards Hydra's base, and you just didn't have the Warlock there at all. Seneko, he's got so much net worth to be able to play around with. You weren't able to get that rock drop. You weren't able to get that AoE damage to be able to combine together with the likes of the Uproar, the Trample, everything else that's coming through. Maybe it's going to be the Party Hat remote mines that do the job for them. Desperately just trying to fix a lot of these lanes is Warwick, and he's level 30 as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Have they done it, man? What a net worth swing. 16,000. This is a 51k net worth swing in Hydra's favor. 60 plus minutes. They don't care about tier 5 items right now.
Sneaky trying to bait. I don't know if you can bait most of the damage that the Legion's got. And meanwhile, it sets up for Kami's corner to the backline as well. They're going to be able to assassinate Nicky Cool, which is a dieback. And now they'll force the hand of Katie as well. But we've seen so far that the Wraith King has not had the damage to be able to combat versus Hydra. And in the end, they're going to be able to send us to a third and final game of this series. What a way for them to do it.
Even gets the rapier at the very end for some style points there coming through for Kami, but the game is going to end before it gets to that point. 61 minutes, no tier 5 items, faceless void performance that is capped off by a lovely Chronosphere to be able to end this one. This is what you're scared about going up against the Faceless. This is what you're worried about. You know, you pick the Wraith King to be able to counter it, but it's for the first 30